Tonight, a pair of Winnipeg seniors attacked in their own living room during a violent home invasion. Also tonight, a move that just won't fly.
I would suggest probably initially at least half my business was built because of these.
How local businesses and community newspapers are reacting as the Postal Worker Union refuses to deliver flyers. Plus, park it elsewhere.
I'm sad that people want to ruin this for all us people who have dogs.
How one community is rallying together to prevent a new road from going through its dog park.
CTV News. Live from downtown Winnipeg with Marilee Caruso.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. A terrifying attack on two seniors sitting in the living room of their own home. Tonight, police have charged a 23-year-old man in connection to the assault in what police call a random home invasion that happened Monday. Let's bring in CTV's Taylor Brock now to tell us more about what took place. So, Taylor, what happened?
Well, Marilee, police say one person was stabbed and the other was punched. It happened on Meredith Bay, that's in North Winnipeg in the Templeton neighborhood. Police say the couple in their 70s and 80s were simply sitting in their living room when a man broke in, punched the woman, picked up a knife, and stabbed the man before running away. Police say they picked up an intoxicated suspect nearby, charging him with assault and weapons offenses. Police say the woman was treated at the scene by paramedics, and the man was taken to hospital in unstable condition, but later upgraded to stable.
Taylor, what about neighbors? Are they saying anything about all of this?
Well, we visited the neighborhood today, and we can tell you people say they're shocked. One neighbor tells CTV News the attack was something they never thought could happen on their quiet bay, but they're relieved a suspect has been arrested.
All right, thanks for this, Taylor. Another man has been arrested in connection to the deaths of a migrant family on the Canada-U.S. border near Emerson in 2022. The Federal Justice Department says Fennell Patel was arrested September 5th on an extradition request from the United States. He's facing a hearing this week in Ontario Superior Court. Police in India announced in 2023 they were looking for Patel on human trafficking and other charges after a couple and their two children froze to death while trying to walk across the border in a frigid nighttime blizzard. Two men in the United States were tried and convicted for being part of the smuggling effort south of the border. A witness told the trial Patel was a key organizer in human smuggling north of the border and drove the family from Toronto to Winnipeg just before they died trying to cross. The latest job action by Canada Post workers is getting in the way of how some small business owners draw in customers. Flyers are no longer being delivered to homeowners as the union tries to ramp up pressure on Canada Post. And as CTV's Jeff Keel shows you now, the move is impacting a wide range of businesses.
When Sean Singla took over this Henderson Highway pizza business 2 years ago, he used flyers to get the word out. They let customers know the address, the menu, and what deals are being dished out. He estimates 20% of customers come in for a slice because of the notices.
So definitely our business did pick up once we sent out the flyers, yeah.
Those flyers are no longer flying into mailboxes. Canada Post delivers them, but postal workers are no longer handing them out as the labor dispute between the union and the Crown Corporation continues, leaving small businesses like the pizza oven caught in the middle.
Which is like causing us disruption in our advertisement.
It's not just food establishments who rely on mailouts.
I would suggest probably initially at least half my business was built because of these.
Canada Post also delivers these real estate postcards for agents like Stacey Burrows.
I'm hoping that at this point in my business, I've got enough of a foundation that through referrals and whatnot, I'm able to keep my name out there. But I do think it'll have a big impact.
And for some, their local news delivery could be interrupted.
The numbers will be affected by about 25% of our papers that are going out.
Community newspapers fall in the same category as flyers. They contain news stories, ads, and public service announcements.
Both parties are treating community newspapers like junk mail, and we're not junk mail. I mean, it's fact-based, researched journalism and information that people need.
The union has said the decision not to deliver flyers is an attempt to get Canada Post back to the bargaining table. Canada Post said it's disappointed with the move and urges the union to come back with workable solutions. Jeff Keel, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Plans to build a road through one of Winnipeg's largest dog parks is raising alarms. It's all part of a renewal strategy at Kilcona Park, a strategy that's been in the works for more than a decade. CTV's Danton Unger is in the park tonight and joins us now live. So Danton, why does the city want to build a road there?
To improve accessibility here in the park and add amenities like picnic spaces in a park the area councillor says has been underinvested in historically. But that plan isn't flying with many residents here. Just take a look at this city sign promoting the upgrades. It's scribbled with graffiti, "Leave our park alone." Merely, that's a sentiment shared by several dog owners I spoke with earlier today.
Okay, come here.
Ashley Papadopoulos and her dog Belle come here to the Kilcona Dog Park just about every single day.
It's just a sanctuary for us because she can do whatever she wants. She's able to be free. She's able to be herself.
But she worries this sanctuary could be disrupted as the city plans to build a new road through the park. It's all part of a $5 million strategic renewal plan for Kilcona Park, which has been in the works since 2014.
The plan was always to build that roadway at some future point. I was hoping it would happen a lot faster than this, but now it's actually in the works.
North Kildonan councillor Jeff Brawadi says a road from McIver Avenue will be constructed along the north side of the park through a section of the existing off-leash dog area. Brawadi says the road will allow for future picnic sites and other amenities in the area. And while it will reduce the size of the dog park, he says it will increase accessibility.
This park's been underinvested in a long time, and this way we'll actually open up the park to even more Winnipeggers, and without, I don't think, taking away from the off-leash experience for dog owners.
But park patrons here aren't so sure.
We just think it's a bad idea to run a paved road through this beautiful park.
People won't come from across the city anymore because it'll just be a smaller dog park.
Papadopoulos started an online petition calling for the city to curb the new road plans. As of Tuesday, it's gathered more than 1,000 signatures.
Look at the petition and all the people that are signing it and think about how building a road can affect the park itself as well as the community that comes here.
Now, merely the efforts of these residents may be coming a bit too late. Councillor Brawadi says preliminary work on this project is set to start this winter and construction will begin in the spring. The first phase of that will be a fence put up around the dog park here, and then after that fence is up, project will begin on the road, which Brawadi expects will wrap up by the fall.
All right, thanks for this, Danton. Healthcare professionals typically prescribe drugs to ease pain and other symptoms, but Manitoba doctors may soon be prescribing something else: time in nature. Today, Assiniboine Park Conservancy announced a partnership with PARX, a national nature prescription program. It encourages healthcare professionals to prescribe time in nature as a way to improve physical and mental well-being. Research shows that time in nature can lower blood pressure, reduce stress, ease anxiety and depression, and improve cardiovascular health and sleep quality. Patients who receive a PARX prescription from a registered healthcare provider are eligible for an Assiniboine Park membership at half price.
I think we all know we're supposed to eat our veggies. Doesn't necessarily mean that we do, but when a doctor tells us you really need to change your diet and make some changes, then we'll listen. This is the same sort of thing. Nature has a lot of health benefits, so, you know, physical, mental, emotional, all those things, and they're starting to have more and more studies that are out there that the more time you spend in nature, the better off it's going to be.
Assiniboine Park is the second zoological organization in Canada to join PARX. You can learn more at parkprescriptions.ca. Well, with or without a prescription, Colleen, tonight is a great night to get out and enjoy nature.
That's right. A little cloudy in Winnipeg, but unseasonably warm. And this is after an even warmer day yesterday. So coming up, we're going to look at where record temperatures were set in Manitoba. It wasn't just warm, it was outright hot. And then also there was considerable rain in parts of Manitoba last night as well. We will show you where in the Skywatch pics of the day. And of course, a look ahead to the rest of the forecast for the week ahead. It's not going to stay this warm. I'll show you when it's going to cool off a bit. Let's take a look first, though, through the Bath Fitter Live Eye. Bath Fitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. In Winnipeg right now, 23 degrees, still humid out there. It feels like 27 with the Humidex. Winds out of the west-northwest at 23 kilometers an hour. The pressure's rising, and the humidity right now, Marilee, is 58%.
Thanks, Colleen. 3 victims of disgraced football coach Kelsey McKay have filed a lawsuit against the school division where he was employed. In their statement of claim, the 3 unnamed plaintiffs allege Pembina Trails School Division failed to properly screen McKay before he was hired, ignored complaints about his behavior with students, and did not properly supervise the school and football activities. The plaintiffs are identified in court documents by initials only due to a court order protecting their identities. They're asking for an unspecified amount in damages for mental anguish, loss of enjoyment, I should say, and the inability to properly earn an income due to emotional trauma. The school division refused to comment as the matter is before the courts. McKay was sentenced to 20 years in prison last year after pleading guilty to 9 counts of sexual assault and 2 counts of luring. A man is charged with assault and uttering threats after a southern Manitoba school went into lockdown. RCMP were called last week to a school in the Hanover School Division and told a parent was throwing punches towards staff members. When officers arrived, a man threatened to harm and fight police. The accused has been released from custody with court-imposed conditions. Mounties are not naming the man or the school as he's the parent of a student. The province is warning of a potential measles exposure at a church and school in southern Manitoba. It happened at New Life Fellowship Church in Hochfeld, September 7th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and New Life Fellowship School the following day from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Anyone who is at those locations is encouraged to monitor for symptoms for about the next 3 weeks and get the measles vaccine if they haven't already. A ripple effect has started from a new development plan. The Winnipeg River Planning District is proposing to lift the ban on new residential developments, but some local residents are raising concerns. CTV's Harrison Shin finds out why.
Welcome to Bird River. It's a peaceful and pristine area. No new development has been allowed here, but now that could change thanks to a new proposal by the Winnipeg River Planning District.
It's proposing that the moratorium on development gets lifted and that about 600 acres are going to be flipped from natural resource to residential/cottage for further development.
According to the new plan, if passed, 20 to 30 new residences could be built here, something current owners are resisting.
None of us were enamored with
Civilians, a Winnipeg consultancy hired by the district, presented the plan to the public on September 11th, saying, in part, the moratorium was originally intended to control boat traffic, and traffic had increased despite the ban.
It's a narrow river, and it carries a lot of traffic, and the development plans in the past have said that we're over capacity for over carrying capacity for the river.
CTV News reached out to the chair of the planning district and he declined to provide a statement. Civilians said their client asked him to, quote, politely decline comment. More steps will need to be taken to pass the proposal, but Kruger says the new plan itself doesn't make sense and opens up this paradise to uncertainty.
What that means further down the line is unknown.
Harrison Shin, CTV News, RM of Alexander.
The Manitoba government is creating a hunting buffer zone near Bloodvein First Nation. Earlier this month, Bloodvein announced non-Indigenous moose hunters would not be welcome this season. The community set up a check stop and posted signs marking the area as traditional territory for band members only. Manitoba Natural Resources and Indigenous Futures has now amended its regulations under the Wildlife Act to create a buffer zone in the area. Protected is an area 500 meters on either side of Rice River Road, which connects Bloodvein First Nation to Barons River First Nation, and 500 meters on either side of the Bloodvein River. The buffer applies to the 2025 hunting season only. Well, as promised, the mayor has released the first in what he says will be a weekly bulletin showcasing repeat offenders.
If this habitual offender had not been released on bail for their April 2021 shooting charge, then the offender wouldn't have been free to commit that carjacking in June of 2021.
Using publicly available police data, Scott Gillingham described an unnamed offender who was convicted of 24 violent crimes over 11 years and violated bail or probation 12 separate times. The mayor concludes his recorded address, which can be found on YouTube, by asking anyone who supports bail or sentencing reform to email the federal justice minister. Last week, Gillingham told CTV News the bulletins are his way to show, quote, where the system is broken and needs to be changed. Still to come tonight, Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe debriefs on his diplomatic mission to China.
This is another step in finding our way through what is a pretty difficult time for a significant Canadian industry.
All while canola farmers continue looking for support amid the ongoing trade dispute. That's next.
Your morning just got a little brighter. Start your day with CTV Your Morning, and you could win $20,000. For your chance to win, watch CTV Your Morning Winnipeg, weekday mornings 6 to 9.
Canada's inflation rate edged up slightly in August, with a smaller than expected decrease in gas prices fueling the increase. Statistics Canada reports the Consumer Price Index rose 1.9% in August, a slight increase from the 1.7% bump in July. Even though gas prices were down compared to last year, the decline was smaller than July. Here in Manitoba, inflation rose slightly faster than the national average at 2%. Turning to the markets now, crude oil is up $1.22. The Canadian dollar is up 0.3 cents. Gold increased by more than $6 an ounce, while the TSX dropped about 116 points. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 125 points, while the Nasdaq lost close to 15 points. A new report from the charity Food Banks Canada says food insecurity continues to climb, but new government programs could ease financial strain. The organization's 2025 poverty report card gives Canada a failing grade on food insecurity and unemployment, but a slightly more palatable C for legislative progress, making the overall mark a D. The report suggests 1 in 4 Canadians deal with some form of food insecurity, ranging from worrying about running out of food to going full days without eating. But it says the introduction of the Canadian Dental Care Plan and the National Food School Program both hold promise in helping struggling Canadians. When 4 new schools go up here in Manitoba, it is going to be local jobs that make it happen.
This is about our values as Manitobans and making sure that everybody in Manitoba can share in the value of the work.
Premier Wab Kinew announced his government has signed its first Manitoba jobs agreement with Manitoba Building Trades. The agreement ensures contractors prioritize Manitoba workers and set standards for wages, benefits, and working conditions.
10% of all project work hours will be apprenticeship hours worked by local apprentices at a minimum. That's thousands of hours of hands-on learning. That's thousands of hours of hands-on learning for young Manitobans, creating pathways into good-paying, stable careers in the trades.
That's Tanya Paulson with Manitoba Building Trades, who says 20% of all work hours will come from groups such as Indigenous people, women, and newcomers. 3 of the 4 new schools, which were previously announced in the provincial budget, are planned for Winnipeg, while the other is in Brandon. A big change is coming to the federal government. Chrystia Freeland, a longtime senior member of the Liberal Party under both Justin Trudeau and now Mark Carney, has officially resigned from cabinet. Freeland is set to become a special Canadian envoy on Ukraine. Freeland is of Ukrainian descent. She's been very outspoken condemning Russia's illegal invasion of Ukraine and singling out Russian President Vladimir Putin. Freeland was banned and sanctioned by Russia years ago. It comes as Prime Minister Mark Carney has promised deeper Canadian involvement in trying to stop the war. Prime Minister Mark Carney met with Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe today to debrief his trip to China, where the Premier discussed those steep tariffs on canola exports. The province is the world's leading canola producer. CTV's Alison Bamford has more on whether any progress was made.
His commitment to our country, obviously he's working for the people of Saskatchewan, but commitment to our country and contribution at the tables have been essential to getting us together and moving forward.
A quick welcome before getting down to work. This afternoon's meeting between the Premier and Prime Minister, a chance to debrief after Scott Moe's trade mission to China earlier this month. Mo met with Chinese government agencies responsible for imposing the steep tariffs on Canadian canola products. Talks, he said, were much more positive than expected.
This is another step in finding our way through what is a pretty difficult time for a significant Canadian industry.
The tariffs are driving down canola prices at a time when farmers are at their busiest. Once the crops are harvested, the pressure will shift. Do producers sell or delay as long as possible?
There's just no real answers and again, no real indication from our federal government as to what sort of support as producers we could be expecting in the future.
The duties are widely viewed as retaliation for Canada's 100% tariff imposed on Chinese electric vehicles.
Tariffs on canola came up unexpectedly. If they can come on fast, then come off fast. And the Chinese are just going to want something in return.
Before flying to Ottawa, Mo told reporters he's hopeful an agreement could be reached by the end of the year. But farmers are still fearful that this could drag on. And with bills to pay, producers may be forced to sell their commodities at a price much lower than the cost of production. Allison Bamford, CTV News, Saskatoon.
A United Nations inquiry has concluded Israel has committed genocide in the Gaza Strip and says top Israeli leaders incited the acts.
The one is the Prime Minister, the other the President, and the third is the former Minister of Defense. And we said that since they acted as agents of the state, then the state of Israel is responsible.
The report found Israel committed 4 of the 5 categories of actions which constitute genocide, as laid out in the 1948 UN Genocide Convention. The Israeli ambassador to the UN rejects the accusations.
Israel categorically rejects the libelous rant published today by this Commission of Inquiry. It spreads the malicious genocide narrative. The report diverges from the mandate of the Commission, yet again stressing their biased analysis.
The United Nations Secretary General says what is happening in Gaza is horrendous, and the war in the Palestinian territory was morally, politically, and legally intolerable. But Antonio Guterres says a determination of genocide can only be made by the UN's highest court. The state of Utah is seeking the death penalty for Tyler Robinson, the man accused of killing conservative commentator Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University last week.
I am filing a notice of intent to seek the death penalty. I do not take this decision lightly, and it is a decision I have made independently as county attorney, based solely on the available evidence and circumstances and nature of the crime.
Robinson faces a total of 7 charges, including 1 for aggravated murder. Prosecutors say evidence against him includes a text message confession. He's accused of murdering Kirk during an event at Utah Valley University last week. Because Robinson is facing the death penalty, he is being held in Utah County Jail without bail. Well, for the first time in history, all of the pieces of the U.S. Constitution are on public display together. The U.S. National Archives building is hosting all 4 pages of the original document through to the most recent amendment. All 4 pages of the Constitution have been on display at the National Archives since 2003, but an extra clerical 5th page, the Bill of Rights, and the 17 other amendments have never been displayed side by side at the same time. The public can now view the display starting today through October 1st at the National Mall in Washington. He was classic Hollywood, handsome, talented, and an enduring presence, looking back at the life and legacy of Robert Redford.
And after an unseasonably warm start to the week in Winnipeg, temperatures will get a lot closer to where they usually are for mid-September. Normal for Winnipeg now is 18, so we get to 20 Thursday and Friday, but it will be soggy along the way. There's a slight chance of showers on Thursday, a growing chance Thursday night. Rain showers expected Friday. We could see some showers to start off the weekend Saturday. 19 degrees, warmer and brighter Sunday and Monday. Mix of sun and cloud both days with highs right around 22.
It was a day to celebrate at Red River College today as more than 60 students officially completed a course allowing them to re-enter the nursing profession. 62 students were presented their certificates today. The nursing reentry program allows nurses previously registered and trained in Manitoba or internationally to gain the skills needed to return to work. Today, graduates heard from Melissa Reyes, who is returning to nursing after immigrating to Manitoba from the Philippines.
After being away from the nursing profession for several years, I was slowly losing my confidence as a nurse. So I decided to take the full program, which I would say is not a walk in the park. But it gave me back my confidence to work as a nurse. It taught me the value of lifelong learning.
The graduates can now write an examination through the Manitoba College of Registered Nurses and return to the profession as practicing nurses. A new clinic opening tomorrow at St. Boniface Hospital will divert cases from its emergency room. The clinic will be open 365 days a year and staffed by doctors, nurses, and primary care assistants. The province says it has access to laboratory services and x-rays when necessary. It follows similar models at Misericordia, Victoria, Grace, and Health Sciences Centre hospitals. Manitoba Premier Wab Kinew says the province has seen good results with those clinics at those sites.
Sometimes you go to the hospital and you absolutely need to see an emergency room doctor, but sometimes you might get there and then the nurse or whoever you're talking to says, you know what, you could probably just skip the waiting room and go to the clinic next door.
The announcement comes on the heels of new data showing median emergency department wait times are trending higher than when the NDP first took office. The health minister says the province has added 900 net new nurses, 200 doctors, and hundreds of other healthcare workers.
CTV Skywatch weather brought to you by South Beach Casino and Resort. Visit southbeachcasino.ca.
Colleen Brady back now with your complete Skywatch forecast and more on some record-breaking weather parts of the province experience.
Yeah, the air mass that's been sort of parked over the province or slowly making its way through Manitoba has been unstable, and it's also been unseasonably warm. And as warm as it was again today, it was even hotter in parts of northern Manitoba. I want to know, well, not just the north, in the south as well, but my eyes are drawn up to the northeast to Island Lake. It's normally about 13 degrees for a daytime high in that community for this time of year. Yesterday, it rocketed all the way up to 30.2 degrees, breaking a record that was only set a year ago. Barons River and Fisher Branch also set new warm weather records, reaching more than 29.5 degrees there. Pine Falls tied a record that once again it set just last year, 28.1 degrees. So very warm in parts of Manitoba, and that heat spilled over into northwestern Ontario. Dryden, Red Lake, Kenora, Fort Francis, Sioux Narrows, all set warm weather records as well, with temperatures getting up into those upper 20s. So as I showed you with the long-range forecast for Winnipeg, that is not going to last. But speaking of northwestern Ontario, that's where we're seeing the active weather tonight. A line of non-severe thunderstorms making their way this hour, pushing to the east of Kenora and Red Lake after going through those communities there. Now, there is more where that's coming from in terms of precipitation. Places in the south, including Lynn Lake and Swan River and Dauphin. May well see some rain today. I'm thinking about the fog that's expected up in Lynn Lake tonight there. As we move into the day ahead tomorrow, little cloudy. We might see some pocketed showers pop up, not much of note. But once we get overnight into Thursday morning, that's when we start to see this much more substantial rain at that point south of us. But it will start to make its way towards the international border. And these communities that are further south in Manitoba will likely see the first of that rain before it will make its way into Winnipeg. The expectation at this point is that that will be on Thursday evening. But for this evening, partly cloudy tonight, an overnight low of 14 degrees, winds out of the west to 20, gusting to 40, at least until late this evening. There's a good chance we'll see some fog overnight, maybe into tomorrow morning. A low, even slight chance of showers for the commute, but still worth a mention for tomorrow morning. 15 degrees, wind shifting coming out of the northwest, strengthening in the afternoon. Out of the north, 20 kilometers an hour on the way to a high of 20 degrees under a mix of sun and cloud. In the north tonight, good chance we'll see some showers around the region, maybe even thunderstorms in Gillam and Island Lake. Thompson down to 9 degrees overnight, soggy there. Cloudy in Thompson tomorrow, 16 degrees. Island Lake, after that heat, you go to 10 degrees tomorrow. Showers expected tonight, maybe even thunderstorms across the northwest. Not so much for Lynn Lake, but as I mentioned, fog is expected there, as well as around a lot of the northwest as well. Tomorrow, temperatures in the upper teens and cloudy. Best chance of showers tonight in southwestern Manitoba is around Swan River and Dauphin. Nepo and Brandon, again, you could see fog developing as well as those areas a little further to the north. Overnight lows right around 12 degrees. A good chance of showers right around the southwest tomorrow. Highs between 18 and 21. Winnipeg in the southeast, not as eventful, but we could see fog develop overnight. 14, 15 degrees overnight. Mix of sun and cloud tomorrow. Temperatures in the low 20s. And quickly in northwestern Ontario, cloudy for the most part tonight and tomorrow. Another warm day ahead. Let's take a look at our first weather photo now. There was an awful lot of rain that came down overnight in the southwest. Now, Brad said it caused this flooding that you see here out in Ethelbert. That's northwest of Brandon. And this is a lovely photo, very prairie-esque, don't you think? This is from Keith out in the Cypress River area. Send us your pics to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
Thanks, Colleen. The media is using words like incandescently handsome and a dreamboat to describe Robert Redford, the movie star who went on to reinvent himself as director, producer, and the brains behind the prestigious Sundance Film Festival. Accolades are pouring in for the 89-year-old who died today. CTV's Andrea Case reports.
There are movie stars, and then there was Charles Robert Redford Jr. Born in Santa Monica, California in 1936, his acting career began on television in 1959. He moved on to Broadway, and then came the movies. His good looks cemented his leading man status. But Redford was more than just a pretty face and turned down acting roles which he thought would stereotype him.
Well, that ought to do it. Use enough dynamite there, Butch?
Robert Redford was someone who I think wasn't always given credit for his enormous talent as an actor simply because he was too good looking. He had the Brad Pitt syndrome that people, I think, for a while just refused to take him as seriously as he deserved to be taken as an actor. But then you look at those films and you place them back to back to back. You see how different they all are, and you see that the common link is Robert Redford.
Marvin, what do we do now?
He made his directorial debut with the family drama Ordinary People in 1980. It garnered him his first Academy Award. Redford stood for many issues, his star power attracting attention to causes which included political activism, the environment, Native American and Indigenous peoples' rights, and LGBTQ rights. In 1981, he created the Sundance Institute, named after his Sundance character, and in 1985, the Sundance Film Festival was born, taking place where he lived in Utah in the middle of winter.
Our job and our role is to create a space and a platform to bring new voices and new ways of seeing the world using independent film.
Redford was married twice and had 4 children and 7 grandchildren. He died in his sleep this morning at home in Utah, surrounded by those he loved. Robert Redford was 89.
Sometimes I just find that I don't really have time.
Nearly 2/3 of Canadians skip their lunch in the name of productivity, but a new study suggests that solution doesn't work. We'll unpack the results next. Small businesses across Canada continue to struggle as consumers cut back on spending and trade tensions weigh on growth. Those findings are laid out in a new Equifax Canada report, and the data coming out of our province, according to some, is a clear warning sign. Joining me now to explain is Sinead Gleason with Equifax Canada. Sinead, good to speak with you.
Hi, Marilee. Good to speak with you, too.
Before we jump into the national numbers, what does the data coming out of Manitoba tell us?
Manitoba is showing more increased signs of business strain than the national average. So nationally, we were seeing delinquencies on the rise across most sectors, and particularly within the financial trade sector. So that's, we segment our data into supplier repayment obligations and then banking repayment obligations. Banking is things such as, credit cards, installment loans, mortgages. And within Manitoba, we're seeing a significant increase in missed payments within the banking side to the tune of 12.93%. So that's a significant increase in the growth rate of the delinquencies. For comparison, nationally, we're seeing delinquencies of increasing by 8.6%, but Manitoba in particular, we're seeing almost 13% rise in missed payments. And then Suppliers are the other sort of side of that coin, because when a business sets up shop, they have sort of like two repayment obligations. One with their banks, where they're their obligations like investment loans and equipment loans and those types of things are set up. But with their suppliers, typically and nationally, we're seeing repayments with suppliers. The delinquency is down, but that is not true in Manitoba. Manitoba, even the suppliers are seeing missed payments as well.
How concerning is this latest data?
It's very concerning given a couple of quarters ago, we'd been seeing business sentiment nationally on the rise. This was, of course, before the election, but we had been sort of recovering from post-COVID, where we had been monitoring for several quarters, decreasing business sentiment and decreasing business performance. And then things were starting to turn around, and then now we're back to sort of concerning levels of delinquencies. We're also seeing sort of at the macroeconomic level, we're seeing, rising unemployment particularly in trade sensitive industries. And then input costs are on the rise too. So it's costing more for businesses to bring goods and services to Canadians. So, a lot of strain from sort of all sides. And then, of course, we have the trade uncertainties that have been playing out for the last little while. So business health sentiment is quite down compared to what we were hoping we were going to see.
Is there any light at the end of the tunnel?
Oh, for sure. I mean, we have the federal budget that is going to be announced in October. And so, there's going to be, it's going to be sort of a quarter to watch. Canadian businesses are very adaptive, very resilient, and we're seeing businesses starting to kind of make plans with other markets, even within our own provincial borders. But we're really hoping to see some programs for housing, infrastructure, and even in the energy sector. And that could really make the difference between, some regions, whether they continue to struggle or whether they kind of rebound and catch up.
Well, we want to thank you for helping us wade through this latest data. It was great speaking with you.
You as well.
A new report warns the extraction, transportation, and burning of fossil fuels has a huge impact on people's health, which starts before they're born and lasts until they die. According to peer-reviewed research cited in the report, living near coal mines or fracking sites has been linked to higher rates of premature births, miscarriages, and other problems during pregnancies. During childhood, air pollution from fossil fuels is associated with higher rates of asthma and cancer such as leukemia. Once in old age, people exposed to air pollution have been found to have an increased risk of heart disease, stroke, certain forms of dementia, and early death. The report comes from the Global Climate and Health Alliance. Well, if you think skipping lunch or dining at your desk gives you an edge at work, think again. A new study suggests ditching your midday break could be making you less productive. As CTV's Vanessa Wright reports, stepping away from your work may be the best thing you do all day.
A new study suggests the Canadian lunch is disappearing, as survey results from Factor Canada show 61% of Canadians skip their lunch break altogether.
Today I skipped my lunch, so it happens. I'm not shocked at all. I can't believe it's a higher percentage.
Not entirely skipping lunch. It's sort of like I eat it on the fly, in the elevator, standing up. I never sit for lunch at work.
Sometimes I just find that I don't really have time.
Experts say it's all based on one misconception.
People will skip lunch thinking that you're going to get that little bit more productivity out of yourself. But really, it sets you up for less productivity throughout the day. Your energy levels go lower. Maybe you can't think quite so clearly.
And for those who do take a lunch, the studies show 2 in 5 eat it at their desk. But that doesn't necessarily count.
An even better step is to get away from the desk. Go for a walk, see other people, maybe get some fresh air while you're having that really balanced meal.
Still, many agree a lunch break is a chance to refuel and recharge. 38% of respondents who took a true lunch break said it reduced stress, 25% say it fostered stronger connections, and 24% say it powered afternoon productivity.
Another thing we'll talk about is if you have a little bar fridge at work, what are some things that you can stock it with so that on those days when it was just too much to make sure that you had a balanced meal for the day, that you have options. There isn't really an excuse.
Vanessa Wright, CTV News.
Medical Watch is brought to you by Manukin Koster Denture Clinic.
It's part scavenger hunt, part taste testing tour. What might be waiting for you at the end of the Royal Winnipeg Ballet's Breadcrumb Trail, next in Spotlight.
Spotlight, sponsored by the Casinos of Winnipeg, presenting Gord Bamford.
All month, you can eat like you're in a Brothers Grimm tale and maybe even score some free tickets to an upcoming production by the Royal Winnipeg Ballet. Ahead of next month's performance of Hansel and Gretel, the RWB is partnering with a handful of local bakeries to offer themed treats. At each store, you'll also find a QR code. Scan all 5 and you'll be entered to win tickets. The promotion runs until October 8th at Generate Cakes, Fete Ice Cream and Coffee, Sugar Blooms and Cakes, Sweet Impressions, and High Tea Bakery. The RWB's production of Hansel and Gretel runs October 9th to 12th. The Queer Film Festival Real Pride Winnipeg is back. This year features movies from all around the world. Real Pride Winnipeg is celebrating its 40th anniversary this year, making it the oldest film festival of its kind in Canada. The film festival is showcasing a dozen short films and is also giving out awards. Real Pride's Greg Klassen says people of all ages can learn from the stories told in the films.
Always felt that queer people need places other than just bars, which these days is definitely happening a lot more. It's a safe space for people to come and gather, I think. And it's also, intergenerationality is very important in my opinion, that people mingle from different generations and talk to each other and we share experiences and people learn from each other. I think that's one thing that young people can really benefit from in this festival.
4 years.
The Real Pride Film Festival runs tomorrow until the 21st. Check out realpride.ca for more information. A pretty big country act has announced a Winnipeg stop on its current marathon tour. Old Dominion's How Good Is That tour is the band's biggest yet.
I want to run down your wild dreams, and I want to chase every high with you, count every...
Old Dominion is one of the defining country acts of its generation. The How Good Is That tour features the band's iconic hits and songs from their recent album Barbara. They're visiting Australia, New Zealand, and Canada, as well as Europe. They'll play Winnipeg's Canada Life Centre on May 1st. Tickets go on sale Friday through Ticketmaster. And from country to rock, a legendary band from the 90s is returning to Canada after more than 20 years. Live is celebrating the 35th anniversary of the album Mental Jewelry, their major label debut back in 1991. Known for classic songs like this one, Lightning Crashes, the multi-platinum band is touring with Canadian icons Big Wreck and Econoline Crush. Live hits the Canada Life Centre stage March 2nd. Tickets go on sale Friday. Visit livetheband.com for more information. Your primetime lineup starts at 7 with Celebrity Weakest Link. High Potential follows at 8. And the Final Four race to the finish on the season finale of The Amazing Race Canada at 9. It's all right here tonight on CTV.
Really happy and proud because he come here to enjoy it.
Staff in an Ontario restaurant left starstruck after Justin Bieber casually stops by. That story still ahead.
Women's clothing provided by RW & Company. Salon services provided by S&T Spa Salon.
23 degrees in Winnipeg. It feels warmer, though, with the humidex, more like 27. Mostly cloudy. Winds out of the west-northwest at 23 kilometers an hour. A little bit of sunshine peeking through downtown near our studios. We got up to 24 degrees, a little bit warmer than we were on this day 1 year ago, 23.5. Tonight, partly cloudy, down to 14. There's a good chance we could see some fog develop overnight, so watch out for that if you have any driving for the commute into tomorrow morning. 20 degrees Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Bright and sunny in the afternoon on Wednesday, but it will get soggy merrily as we get closer to Thursday and especially Friday.
Thanks, Colleen. Staff at an Ontario restaurant got the surprise of a lifetime last week when Justin Bieber popped by. The Stratford native showed up at Chicago pub unannounced to shoot some pool. The pop star then sang karaoke and performed a handful of songs off his newly released album. The owner of the bar says she's still in shock over the experience.
I'm surprised because he come here, right? Yeah, like no, it's like just surprise. We never like know him come here, you know. Like really surprised. Yeah, and then we feel like very good memory for us, you know, like for experience, really good experience with him. But like we don't think it's like promotion or something like that. You know what I mean? Just like really happy and proud because he come here to enjoy.
Bieber and his family were in town for a few days. That is pretty cool.
That's pretty exciting. Good for them.
Yeah. All right. That does it for us this hour. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Have a good night.